Hi, I'm Jeff Ludy, the founder and owner of Houston Window Experts, and today we're doing another product comparison video. Today we're comparing two very popular, very wonderful wood windows that have an aluminum clad exterior. The first one is Pella. You've heard of Pella windows, I'm sure. And the other is Windsor. And maybe you haven't heard of Windsor windows, but you should. And hopefully after talking with me today, you'll understand better about what's similar to these two brands and also what their differences are and what their little quirks can be. So first of all, let's talk about this type of window. Wood windows, Houston, Texas. Are you serious? Who would buy a wood window for a house in Houston, Texas? Well, the answer is you can't beat wood when it comes to beauty, when it comes to the warmth. In fact, I like to think of wood like the difference between a gas log fireplace and a real log fireplace. You know, there's a lot of materials that look like wood, there's a lot of materials that can do the job of wood, but nothing does wood like a real wood window. So if you have a home, maybe it's an older home, or maybe it's just, you know, you're in the kind of zip code where you don't want to use vinyl, you want to use a really good, beautiful product, wood's for you. And a brand like Pella, which you recognize, makes a terrific product. And so I want to talk about some of these comparisons. Now, wood in Houston, right? We said maybe that's not a good idea, but it is if you actually get an aluminum cladding on the exterior. So what this is they take the wood window that they've been making for over 100 years, and then they add an aluminum cladding, if you want to call it an extra window. It's a window on top of a window, and that aluminum is exposed to the weather so that your wood is not exposed to the weather, and that hopefully buys you a lot more time with your beautiful wood windows in Houston. So both of these windows are made with an aluminum clad exterior attached to a wood interior. And we'll show you the interior in just a minute. And what you notice when you first look at the windows is they look traditional, right? They look like the kind of window you would see in an older home. They have the slope sill, they have the jamb liners, they have the place for the screens to go, they have the realistic type grids on them like you would see in an older home. And they even have down to the 2.5-inch measurement. They have the 2.5-inch measurement on the sashes. So this is designed to be used in an existing home or a new construction home where this look is important to you. Now here's one of the differences though between the Pella window and the Windsor window. And it's gonna sound to you a little bit like I'm picking on Pella today, and maybe I am, but I wanna give you this disclaimer right up front. I sell Pella windows too. Okay, we sell Anderson, Pella, Marvin, Windsor, Milgard. We have a lot of options, but I'm going to point out the differences, and I want to tell you this too. In my personal home, I have over 40 windows. Guess what windows in my house? Pella. I have Pella windows in my house. Now, I didn't pick the Pella windows. The previous owner did and put them in, but I have lived with Pella windows for years, and I know a lot about them, and so I know there's some benefits and some drawbacks to Pella. Now, the differences between these two when it comes to the cladding is that on the Pella, they use what's called a roll-formed aluminum. And a roll-formed aluminum is like about the thickness of a can of Coke. You can see that I'm bending it here. And for it to be roll-formed, meaning that it rolls over the wood and it forms it, then they need to have a thinner product in order for that to work. So it's nice to have aluminum, I'm glad you do, but roll-formed aluminum is basically entry-level aluminum. And that's what Pella makes on theirs. Now, if you buy a product from Marvin, or you buy a product from Anderson, or you buy a product from Windsor, what you're going to find is that they use an extruded aluminum. This is extruded aluminum. Much stronger, much thicker, and it actually is designed to basically be a much stronger barrier and shelter on the outside of your window against damage. You can tell by looking at this sample I have here, and we'll get you a close-up, there's actually even a little ding already in the roll-formed aluminum down here at the bottom of this window, just from us operating this thing in our showroom. You probably would take a much stronger impact before that would happen on a window that's made from an extruded aluminum. Also, what's the negative to roll-formed aluminum? Well, the negative is that where these corners meet down here, these seams, if it's just sealed, you can even see a little bit of that little kind of like a black goop in there where they basically just take that and glue it together and seal it. If you have a house where you're getting a lot of water, and we do in Houston, and maybe you have sprinklers even on the ground floor and these bottom floor windows get wet a lot, eventually the water will sit on here and it will penetrate behind there. In fact, I've got a picture I want to show you of that where this is a project that was 13-year-old Pella windows, 13 years old. They were 3 years out of the warranty, and water got behind there, and when it gets in there, because we're so humid in Houston, it actually would not dry out. So after a short period of time, the water began to make the wood to swell and to rot. And then guess what? Your aluminum cladding is falling off your window. Where you have an extruded product like this is, with an extruded aluminum, you're not going to have those issues. A couple of reasons. One is the design. If you notice here, the way this aluminum's designed, this is a 90-degree angle compared to the 45s that you see on the Pella. The 90-degree angle is designed to shed water. Water runs down this board instead of stopping there, and it keeps it from coming in there. Also, it's actually sloped here. You have a sloped sill. It's hard to see it, but it's actually an 8-degree slope that allows the water to slope off and get away from the actual glass. Being extruded aluminum and being much stronger, you also don't have the expansion and contraction like you would on roll-formed aluminum. Therefore, it stays together and lasts longer. Well, what does that mean for you as a homeowner? What that means is, if you're like most homeowners, you're not going to go out here and inspect your windows every year. You're not. I mean, we just don't do it. But with a product like this, it's going to last longer. It's going to need less, if any, maintenance whatsoever. And you're going to have a more durable product. It's going to last you a lot longer. Hopefully it'll outlast your mortgage, right? That's the idea behind that. So that's some of the main differences. Now, this aluminum, of course, is going to be powder coat finish. There's two types of powder coat finishing standards in the United States. There's a 2604 and a 2605. 2604 is considered the industry standard, and it's applied to almost every product that's powder coated. Both of these products come with the 2604, which is designed to last typically somewhere between 20 and 30 years. The 2605 is basically the same process, but more of it. So it costs a little bit more money, takes a little bit more time, but it's going to give you a longer lifespan. It's going to give you a better looking product for the life of the product. And so this is only available in 2604 from Pella, and in Windsor it's available in 2604 or 2605. And to get 2605, it costs you 5% more. So it's really not much more cost to get a better finish that's going to last longer and look better and be actually more realistic and more true. So the other thing I want to point out before we go around and look at the back is, if you notice here on this window, this jamb liner, this little track here where the window slides up and down, actually is the same color as the window. And if you look at it on the Pella, you'll see that it doesn't match their window. Now, if you had a white window, maybe you wouldn't notice it so much. If you had a black window, or if you had a red window, cinnamon, I think they call this color, you're going to see it. And the reason is, this is made out of plastic. It sits on the surface. This one is made out of wood, and it has a channel track behind there that you cannot see where the mechanism operates. So a little bit of a benefit to going with this product again over that product right there. Also, before we go around back, I want to point out one last thing, is that the glass on this unit is overall thickness from the inside to the outside is 7/8 of an inch. The glass on this unit is 3/4 of an inch. Does that matter? Yes, it does. The more glass depth you have on a unit, the better performing it's going to be. The quieter the house is going to be, the more comfortable the house is going to be, and the fewer chances of having what's called a seal failure. Seal failure is when you lose that seal and you get condensation between the glass and it fogs up. Probably the most common issue you can have with a window that's made out of double pane glass. So you're going to get better response out of this, you're going to get better performance, and it's going to last longer. That's the main differences on the outside. So let's go look at the inside. Remember I mentioned the jamb liner on the outside looking different? You see the same thing again here. You can see how you can see that actual track on this window, and you don't see it on this window over here. Also, what I like about this window is it's got a nice little finger pull, a place for you to put your fingers. This is kind of old world, sort of old school. You put your fingers here to raise the window. You actually have one on the top as well where you can pull it down. And yes, this is what we call a double hung window, meaning that the top and the bottom both operate. On this window, this is also a double hung window, but if you notice, there's no finger pull. So what do you do? Like I do at my house. You kind of put your hand under here and you pull that up. You could get some handles if you wanted to put some handles on it. They do make that as an option. And of course, the top also tilts down. One of the things that I notice that's different between these two windows as well is I do like what Pella has done here with the way that you can actually tilt this window in. It's concealed around the back. You see my fingers are back there? This is concealed, right? Right here's my little handles for those little tabs. You see those tabs? So I like that about the Pella. On the Windsor, they're not quite that way. They're actually like on the surface here. So I do think Pella's got them beat with that look. This looks to me more authentic. It looks more original. And so I do like that. I really like that you don't see these, they're concealed the whole time. One of the things too that's the difference between Pella and Windsor is that Windsor actually is owned by a company called Wood Grain. Wood Grain is $1 billion a year wood provider. They own so much forestry in South America. And they're very conscientious about harvesting the wood. And so where Pella buys wood that's considered young growth or immature wood, you're going to see that the wood grain on it, this is their pine. By the way, they have a lot of options, but you can see that their wood is actually not as hard. It's much younger growth compared to this old forest that you would see on the products from Windsor, meaning that it's more mature wood. Now, why does that matter to you? Well, the more mature the wood is, the less porous it is, the more age it has, the more strength it has, and so therefore it's going to last longer. In fact, I wish I had a scale to show you. This window and this window are the exact same size. This window weighs 7 pounds more than that window. I weighed them. 7 pounds more, being identical windows in size. It's because of the glass being thicker and better, and it's also because of this wood being immature compared to the maturity of the wood you're going to find on this product instead. So that's real important. Also, by the way, here you have some wood options, like 5 or 6. On this one, it's unlimited. I mean, if there's a wood out there, these guys have it. In fact, there's a project they did in Colorado where they cleared a ski resort, and they took all the wood from the ski resort where they cleared down the aspen wood, and they sent it to the manufacturer, and they actually made windows out of the wood that came from that forest. That's pretty cool. I don't know what it costs. I'm sure it was very expensive, but it can be done. Both of these windows, of course, can be painted to your liking on the inside. You can get them primed, you can get them pre-painted, or they can come natural, so you could stain them, or whatever it is you want to do on that. Those things are very similar. But I do want to close with this piece of information for you. While these windows are virtually identical in many ways, and they have some differences in other ways, probably one of the biggest, more important things if you're considering longevity and resale on your home to consider is that with Pella, you get the brand name recognition of Pella. Windsor, not so much. So they do have an advantage there for that. Just as a side note, do you realize these two companies are 20 miles apart? They're in Pella, Iowa, and they're in Des Moines, Iowa. So there's a lot of rivalry there. It's like the Cowboys versus the Texans, or OU versus Texas. So anyway, that's probably not important to you, but thought I'd point that out. They have a lot of brand name recognition. What does that mean? That means that they spend a lot of money on advertising. So you're going to pay, even though I think this is a better window in my opinion, okay, you're going to pay about 20% more for a Pella product over a Windsor product. So value-wise, you're going to win with the Windsor. Brand name recognition, Pella. Warranty-wise, their warranties are different. On this warranty for the Pella, you're going to get a 20-year warranty on the glass. On the Windsor, you get a 20-year warranty on the glass. On the hardware and the wood and the aluminum cladding, you get a 10-year warranty from Pella, whereas you get a 20-year warranty from Windsor. If you spend the extra 5%, they'll actually give you a 30-year warranty on the exterior finish. So 30 years versus 10 years, or 20 years versus 10 years, and those are the main differences. So if you're in the area, please stop by, take a look at our showroom. If you're watching this video on YouTube, please be sure you subscribe and hit the bell so you get notified. If you're watching this on our website, don't forget to fill out the contact form. We'll contact you and we'll come out, take a look at your house, send out a product specialist, and we'll get you the information you need to make an informed decision about Pella or Windsor wood windows. Thanks for watching. Have a great day.